Ang nangyari po, may mga nagpatitulo, maaga pa lang, tas binebenta yung kanilang property, tas ang ating pagsasabatas. Alam nyo, nung pumasok po ako dito, 1998, 11 lang yata ang protected areas. Nung naging chair po ako ng komite, sabi ko, maski naman 10 termino ako sa Senado, hanggang 100 taon ako, ay hindi ko matatapos ang lahat ng protected areas. Ang ginawa ko po, kinumpul-kumpul ko po ng 94. There was opposition from my colleagues then, pero napasa natin. Yun yung INIPAS, Expanded National Integrated Protected Areas. Hindi ko po tiningi-tingi bawat protected areas, pinagsama-sama ko po. So, naging pattern na po yan, na-increase natin. Pero, medyo nahuli dahil marami na pong may titulo sa ilang protected areas na na-legislate po natin. So my question is, what do you do with protected areas na may residente dahil hindi naman natin sinasabing to protected areas ay walang tao. May multiple use zones. Meron strict protection zones at meron multiple use zones. Pero maski na may titulo, yung sinasabi ko kay Sec. Lutilio, kailangan may patakaran sa pamumuhay. Hindi ibig sabihin ay may titulo ka, tapos yung forest sa likod mo, wala, putol ka na, uka ka, sungka. Mukha ng sungka talaga ang Pilipinas. So, even there are gaps because hindi naman lahat protected areas. There are gaps. So I think to be fully protected, the Sierra Madre range must be declared a protected area. Pero dahil napakahaba niyan, hindi po pwedeng isang single PA. It should be an order from the DNR immediately, continuing lahat ng gaps dahil ito PA, tapos ito hindi covered. Ito protected area, ito hindi covered. Di sabihin nila, lahat na lang i-cover. Yun na muna, pero hindi pwedeng isang PA kasi iba-ibang rehiyon, iba-ibang probinsya, hindi pwedeng isang single PAMB or Protected Area Management Bureau, pero dapat protection. It should be a presidential executive order, just like what Pinoy did in 2011, na no logging. Ito naman, strict enforcement of our laws, maski hindi siya declared na protected area.
Ang problema, Mr. President, dito nga po, doon sa mga protected area, doon sa gitna o doon sa labas, nagmamining. I believe, Mr. President, what we can do, siguro pag-aralan ng DNR na, okay, mining ka nga, tumigil ka muna sa pagpuputol ng kahoy hanggat hindi mo na re-replace yung mga pinutol mo. Kasi po gano'n nangyari. And then yung mga development, wag mo na pumutol ng kahoy, kailangan humingi ng permit muna sa DNR. Kasi wala na po, Mr. President, na dumaan po kami dyan ng kampanya, nag-helicopter po kami, nakita po namin talagang tinabas na yung dyan sa may Rizal area, tapos dun sa ibabaw ng bundok may mga nagmamining, Mr. President. So one of these days, Mr. President, I believe wala na po tayong ika nga mapapakinabangan dyan sa Sierra Madre na yan. Anyway, Mr. President, to end my interpellation, I would just like to quote, sabi nga po sa Oposa versus Factural na siya rin pong na-quote ng ating good sponsor noong 2015, if you could still recall. The day would not be too far when all else would be lost, not only for the present generation, but also for those to come. Generation which stand to inherit nothing but parched earth incapable of sustaining life. Sana po, Mr. President, dear colleagues, hindi pa po huli ang lahat. Malasakit po ang kailangan natin to save this nation, to save our environment. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor now, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you to the good gentleman from Palawan and the Philippines for bringing up the issues that you have and for even citing specific areas in Mindanao and in Region 3 and other areas. I would be happy to receive whatever special provisions you can suggest for the DNR budget as we do our final
Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President. Next and last to interpolate is our Deputy Majority Leader, Senator Rizzo Ontiveros. I move that she be recognized.
Senator Rizzo Ontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President, at magandang hapon po, Madam Sponsor. Kung pwede po akong magsimula sa mga tanong tungkol sa reclamation. Salamat po.
Be more than happy to answer the questions to the best of my ability from the Deputy Minority Leader. Thank you.
Thank you so much, good sponsor. So, my understanding is that the cumulative impact assessment of the Manila Bay reclamation has been completed. Briefly po, good sponsor, ano yung mga main findings ng CIA na to at anong mga next steps ang ginagawa ng DENR? Good sponsor.
I'll just read the findings in general.
Yes, good sponsor.
1,994 square kilometers of Manila Bay is still alive, and that if all the 21 reclamation projects were implemented, this would substantially change the water circulation in the bay. This may destroy habitats and increase vulnerability to hazards such as flooding. Is it still the Manila Bay? The coverage is 21 proposed reclamation projects, 14 have ECC, 7 have ECC and area clearances, 3 are ongoing in Pasay City, and 1 Philippine Fisheries Development Corp. CAMV, Cumulative Impact Assessment on Reclamation, Phase 1 has been completed. The CAMB was conducted by the Marine Environment and Resources Foundation. The study engaged the services of 48 scientists, technical personnel, and support staff that included the most renowned Filipino scientists from the UP Marine Science Institute. Portions of the CIAMB may be considered as proprietary, as some of the data stated were lifted from the proponents' environment impact assessment studies, which the LGU proponents and their private partners generated and funded. So, in gist, it is admitted that the Manila Bay, contrary to what some say, is dead. No, it is still alive, and that the reclamation projects would substantially change the water circulation and may destroy habitats and increase our flooding.
Salamat, good sponsor. Tama po ba yung impression ko na dun sa main findings, panay negatibo sa magiging epekto ng pagpapatuloy ng reclamation at walang positibo, good sponsor?
The DENR confirms that it's all negative.
Salamat, good sponsor, at salamat sa DENR. So, ang mga susunod na hakbang ba ay concretely, halimbawa, i-review yung 14 projects na inisyuhan na ng ECCs, yung 7 pa na nabigyan na dati ng ECCs at ng isa pang importanteng dokumento para ang maging outcome ay cumulatively, itigil na po ang reclamation sa Manila Bay para maiwasan o mabawasan, ma-preempt yung mga negatibong epektong nakita dun sa CIA. Good sponsor.
According to the DENR, only 2 are ongoing operationally. And the others, there are ongoing compliance or permits. How many ECCs did you grant? So I asked them, why will they grant ECCs if all the findings are negative? And they stated that this finding of the CIAMB was how many years ago? Just last year.
Opo.
when the ECCs were granted, how many years ago? 2017?
Exactly.
There were ECCs that were granted before the pandemic,
Mhm.
and the CIAMB, or the Cumulative Impact Assessment on Reclamation, was released only last year. That would be 8 years or 7 years after the issuance of the ECCs.
Opo, good sponsor. So kahit 8 years later ito, kung ganitong ka-stark at unanimous yung mga findings, mas maigi ng iwasto natin even if 8 years later than many more years down the road or not at all. So kahit po yung dalawa pang proyekto na ongoing assessment po ba or they are still ongoing? Kahit yung dalawang ongoing pa operationally, hindi po ba nakaschedule na ng DENR na pati yun ay, or at lahat ng mga proyekto ng reclamation sa Manila Bay ay itigil na? Good sponsor.
I'm told that with the two, umayag sa dalawa, did they comply?
They're complying while operation. But we cannot suspend them the operation.
I am told that the two that are ongoing reclamation are supposedly complying with the cumulative impact assessment findings, while the other ECCs are pending and have been withheld. Tama yun?
Comply
Until they comply. Ibig sabihin, papayag kayo sa reclamation.
based on kung they can comply with the findings.
But so it really bothers me because they claim that all the findings are negative,
Opo.
that it will cause flooding
Mhm.
and kill the habitats. But they're asking the proponents to comply so that they could reconsider or review the applications. Meaning if they comply, and I don't know what kind of compliance they are waiting for, then you will eventually issue the ECC.
It depends.
Yes, so it will depends on what kind of compliance and standards the DNR is doing.
Good sponsor, I concur with what I heard and also overheard from the good sponsor. Hindi ko rin po ma-imagine anong klaseng compliance ang pwedeng gawin ng mga reclamation projects kung yung mga proyektong ito by their very nature and siguro natural effects on the precious Manila Bay ecosystem ay nasilip na po nitong cumulative impact assessment, panay nega, walang positibo. So, bakit hindi kaya i-cut na ng DENR yung losses natin ng ating archipelago sa Manila Bay reclamations na iyan? Bakit hindi po itigil na para masimulan instead yung pag-reverse ng damage so far, good sponsor?
I agree with you. And I'd just like to ask, so that it's on the record, why were the two allowed? What is the basis? Maybe so we put it on record because I'm defending their budget, but I agree with those asking me. So I don't want to go on record as if I agree with what the DNR did. So can you just tell me the reason? I don't even know who the two are. The two reclamation. Yes, just kindly give me the reasons why the DNR. Can you answer?
And in fact, good sponsor, both the good sponsor and I are even agreeing with and supporting the findings of the DENR's cumulative impact assessment. Good sponsor.
Sabihin ko ba yung sinabi, binulong mo sa akin? May dahilan sila. Ano nga ang kaibahan ng ginawa ng dalawa?